And finally, it is raining lava from Italy's Mount Etna. The increased volcanic activity has created a stunning spectacle atop Mount Etna, which is the tallest active volcano.
Etna is erupting again, sending hot lava down its snow-covered slopes. It is Europe's most active volcano and the continent's tallest.
Sicilian officials have urgently evacuated parts of the island as Mount Etna erupts with incredible force. This latest explosion has sent molten lava flowing down its slopes, threatening nearby communities. As Europe's most active volcano, Etna has a long history of dramatic eruptions. But this one is different, catching the attention of experts worldwide. What hidden forces are at work beneath this ancient giant? Let us uncover the powerful force of Mount Etna's latest fiery outburst that promises to change the Italian landscape forever. Sicily's ever-erupting giant. Mount Etna, sitting on the eastern side of Sicily in Italy, is not just any regular mountain. It's a massive volcano that's about 10,830 feet tall. What's cool is that its height isn't always the same. It changes whenever it erupts. Because of this ongoing change in activity, Mount Etna is a hotspot for scientific study. But what really sets Mount Etna apart? Well, its history is pretty interesting. Scientists think Mount Etna has been active for over 500,000 years. That's way older than any city or civilization we know. It's erupted countless times and has often caused a lot of damage. Take the eruption in 1669, for instance, which wiped out several villages and even reached the city of Catania. This eruption reshaped the land and even altered the coast. But here's an interesting twist. Mount Etna isn't just about destruction, it also helps create new things. The soil around the volcano is super fertile, perfect for growing grapes, olives, and other crops. People living near Etna have a saying, "Etna gives and Etna takes." They recognize that even though the volcano can be dangerous, it also provides them with valuable resources they need to make a living. Now you might wonder, how did Mount Etna come to be? It's a question that grabs a lot of attention. Situated majestically on Sicily's east coast, this massive stratovolcano stands about 11,014 feet tall. Its origin goes back millions of years due to the movements of tectonic plates. Sicily is located where the African plate meets the Eurasian plate, both of which are huge chunks of the Earth's crust that create a lot of underground action. Here's where it gets even more interesting. When the African plate goes under the Eurasian plate, it gets melted by intense heat and pressure. This melted rock, or magma, is lighter than the solid rock around it, so it starts moving up. Over millions of years, this magma has made its way up through cracks in the Earth's surface, erupting as lava and slowly building up to form Mount Etna. This process has been going on for a very long time, which is why Mount Etna isn't just one big volcano. It's made up of many layers of hardened lava, ash, and volcanic rocks from numerous eruptions. It has several craters at the top and many vents along its sides, making it a complex and fascinating structure to study. One of the coolest things about Mount Etna is how often it erupts. Unlike some volcanoes that might stay quiet for years, Etna is almost always up to something. This constant action is because of the ongoing movement of the tectonic plates underneath. When the pressure from the magma gets too high, Etna erupts. Its eruptions can be either explosive, with huge lava fountains and ash clouds, or effusive, where the lava flows out slowly. Both kinds of eruptions keep changing the landscape around Etna. This volcano is super important for scientists because it acts like a natural lab where they can study how volcanoes work. They watch how magma moves under the earth, how eruptions happen, and what goes on afterward. For instance, not too long ago, Etna shot out hot lava, black smoke, and ash high into the sky, which even led to the nearby Catania airport being closed temporarily. Observing these events helps scientists learn more about other volcanoes around the world and gets better at predicting when they might erupt. They use tools like seismographs, satellites, drones, and gas sensors to keep a close eye on Etna. But can they always tell when the next eruption will happen? From way back in history to today, Etna has been a source of both wonder and fear. It has a long history of eruptions, with the first one recorded around 1500 BC, though it was likely active long before that. These ancient eruptions were noted by the Greeks and Romans, who lived nearby and saw Etna's power up close. Mount Etna's eruptions have shaped the land and the lives of those living nearby, leaving a lasting mark that history won't forget. Mount Etna's most destructive moments. One of the biggest eruptions happened in 122 BC and caused so much damage to Catania that the Roman Senate decided to exempt the city from taxes for 10 years to help it recover. That tells you just how big of a deal it was. Jumping ahead to 1669, Etna had another massive eruption. It started with earthquakes, and then a crack opened on the volcano's side, letting out a stream of lava that destroyed several villages on its way to Catania. The city's walls managed to redirect the lava flow somewhat, but not before it had done significant damage to the surrounding area. This eruption went on for months and even extended the coast as the lava reached the sea. These stories might seem like they're from long ago because they happened well before our time, but Etna is still very much active. For example, there was a big eruption in 1928 that took out the town of Mascali. The lava buried the town, leaving hardly anything untouched. But the Italian government didn't just sit back, they rebuilt Mascali in a new spot, further away from Etna's reach. This ongoing cycle of destruction and rebuilding around Mount Etna shows how it both challenges and supports the people living near it. From 2002 to 2003, Mount Etna saw a big eruption that involved some really intense explosions and new cracks opening up along the sides of the volcano. This eruption caused huge clouds of ash that messed with air travel and lava flows that came dangerously close to nearby towns. Luckily, scientists had been keeping an eye on things with modern tech, and they were able to give early warnings to help keep the local community safe. Now let's talk about the most recent big event at Mount Etna, which happened on August 4th, 2024. Things started to get shaky on the evening of August 3rd. People living close to the volcano began to notice more earthquakes and shakes than usual, which usually means an eruption might be coming soon. These quakes happen because the magma, or molten rock, is pushing up through the Earth's layers, trying to get out. The National Institute of Geophysics and Volcanology in Catania was right on top of it, monitoring these quakes and letting people know that an eruption was likely on the way. As the night went on, these shakes got stronger and more frequent. By 3:20 a.m., the energy from the moving magma, measured by what's called a volcanic tremor, had gone from being moderate to super high. This was a sure sign that an eruption couldn't be avoided. Right at 4:40 a.m. on August 4th, Etna went off. The eruption came mainly from what's known as the Vagine crater on the southern side of the volcano. Huge fountains of lava shot up into the air, some as high as 4,900 feet. Along with that, a massive ash cloud rose up to 10 kilometers into the sky and started drifting southeast, covering nearby towns and villages in ash. Imagine waking up to find your town covered in a thick layer of black ash, making it look like some weird winter scene, but with dark snow. That's what happened to the folks in these areas. The ash, which is really just tiny bits of volcanic rock, settled on houses, cars, streets, pretty much everything. People even posted photos online showing their places covered in this black snow, as some called it. This ash wasn't just a strange sight, it caused real problems. It got into water supplies, ruined crops, and could even make people and animals sick, especially if they breathed it in. Because of this, local officials told everyone to stay inside as much as possible and to wear masks if they had to go out. Cleanup crews got to work right away, trying to sweep up the ash from streets and other public spaces to get things back to normal. But that wasn't the only problem. The eruption was bad news for flying too. The INGV, which is the Volcano Monitoring Group, had to put out a serious warning for airplanes because the ash could mess up plane engines and make flying dangerous. The local airport in Catania had to shut down on that Friday because the runways were covered in ash. While Mount Etna kept erupting, flights had to be canceled or sent to other airports to avoid flying through the ash cloud. Mount Etna's recent eruptions show that the volcano remains unpredictable, testing the strength of the communities close by. How the 2024 eruption impacted Sicily. Thankfully, the airport staff and emergency teams did an amazing job. They worked non-stop to clear the ash from the runways and make sure everyone flying in and out was safe. But the eruption wasn't done yet. Lava kept flowing from the Vagine crater, slowly moving down the slopes of Etna. Thankfully, the lava didn't hit any big towns, but it did run over some farms and messed up some roads and infrastructure. Local farmers had to just watch as their fields and orchards got buried under the lava. These fields and orchards are a big deal for the local economy, so it was a pretty tough situation. As the day went on, the eruptions started to calm down a bit. The volcanic tremors dropped to medium-high levels, which meant the flow of magma was slowing down. The lava fountains weren't as frequent, and the huge ash cloud began to clear up. But even though the worst was over, there was still a lot to clean up. The community kept working hard to get rid of the ash and check on the damage, especially to the farms. Local authorities were busy figuring out how to help those who were hit hardest by the eruption. The Civil Protection Department was all over it, making sure everyone was safe and setting up places for people to go if they had to leave their homes. This day, with Mount Etna showing its power once again, is one that people won't forget anytime soon. It's a reminder of how nature can really turn things upside down and how communities need to stick together and help each other out when things get tough. Mount Etna, Europe's most frequently erupting volcano, is a hotbed for scientific study. Researchers flock to it to gain first-hand knowledge of how volcanoes operate, providing valuable lessons that apply to other volcanoes around the world. Due to its regular bursts of activity and its location near populated areas, Mount Etna is labeled as one of the critical decade volcanoes, requiring intense and continuous observation. The insights gleaned from studying Etna are pivotal for forecasting future eruptions and devising plans to keep nearby communities safe. Living close to Mount Etna is naturally risky, but understanding the volcano's patterns can significantly reduce these risks. Scientists studying Etna work hard to figure out when it might erupt next. This allows local officials to prepare better, warn residents in time, and take measures to protect people, homes, roads, and farms from the potential destruction. Knowing more about Etna's eruption habits leads to better safety plans and faster reactions in emergencies. Furthermore, every time Mount Etna erupts, it offers a real-world classroom of geological wonders. Scientists examine the ejected rocks, lava, and ash to better understand what's happening beneath the Earth's surface. Their research helps piece together how our planet was formed and continues to evolve. It's also crucial for understanding the area's tectonic behavior, which can improve earthquake predictions and other related geological forecasts. Mount Etna serves as a dynamic field laboratory for budding geologists and seasoned scientists alike. It attracts scholars from around the globe who are eager to study its complex volcanic behaviors up close. The experience gained here is invaluable, equipping future geologists and volcanologists with the skills they need to tackle similar natural phenomena elsewhere. Recent eruptions have shed light on how magma moves under the volcano. By examining the seismic data and what the volcano spews out, researchers have discovered several magma chambers at different depths. The interactions between these chambers affect the intensity and type of eruptions. This knowledge is key to making more accurate eruption predictions. By looking closely at Mount Etna's recent explosive activities and more fluid lava flows, scientists have identified specific patterns. These insights help predict what the volcano will do next, allowing for timely warnings to be issued to protect local communities. A particularly important focus of recent studies has been the gases released by Mount Etna, such as sulfur dioxide, carbon dioxide, and water vapor. Monitoring these gases not only helps gauge the volcano's current state of activity, but also plays a crucial role in predicting imminent eruptions. Additionally, understanding the effects of these gases on the environment and climate is vital for broader ecological and atmospheric studies. As we look at the most recent eruption, the focus shifts to how scientists predict these events. How scientists study Mount Etna. Observations of lava flows during recent eruptions also provide essential data. By tracking where and how the lava travels, researchers can understand the impact of different variables, like the terrain's slope and the lava's thickness, on its flow. This information is crucial for creating detailed hazard maps that help protect communities from the path of flowing lava. Advances in technology have transformed how Mount Etna is monitored. A mix of satellite images, drone footage, and ground sensors now offers a comprehensive view of the volcano's activity in real time. These tools deliver precise information on everything from the smallest ground movements to changes in gas levels, enhancing our ability to monitor and respond quickly to any signs of unrest. Mount Etna's continuous activity not only holds the interest of scientists from all over, but also fosters international collaboration. These partnerships are essential for deepening our understanding of volcanic processes and improving models that predict eruptions. Sharing knowledge and technology benefits everyone involved in volcanic research and hazard management. Predicting the exact moment and nature of Mount Etna's eruptions remains challenging, but the ongoing research and technological advancements have significantly boosted our ability to anticipate these events. By studying past eruptions and continuously monitoring the current situation, scientists can spot early signs of an eruption, such as increased seismic activity, noticeable changes in ground structure, and shifts in gas emissions. One of the main methods used to predict eruptions is seismic monitoring. Seismographs installed around Mount Etna capture and analyze the tremors that suggest magma is moving underground. By examining the details of these earthquakes, experts can better forecast when an eruption is likely to happen. Another crucial technique is tracking ground deformation. As magma pushes toward the surface, it causes the ground above to bulge and crack. Using GPS and satellite technology, scientists measure these changes precisely to figure out how much magma is building up and where it might break through. Measuring gas emissions is also vital. The rise of magma releases gases that, if detected in increasing amounts, can indicate an approaching eruption. By continuously measuring these gases around the volcano, scientists can more accurately predict when and how Mount Etna will erupt next. Satellite technology is essential for keeping an eye on Mount Etna. These satellites, loaded with specialized heat and radar imaging tools, can spot even tiny changes in the volcano's temperature and land shape. This gives scientists a full picture of what's happening, especially in areas that are tough to reach by foot. This satellite data is critical for watching volcanic eruptions as they unfold and for forecasting what the volcano might do in the future. The use of drones and remote sensing technology has completely changed the way we monitor volcanoes like Etna. These drones are equipped with high-resolution cameras and various sensors, allowing them to fly over the volcano, capturing detailed images and collecting data on gas emissions and ground movements. This lets scientists safely monitor Etna's activities from a distance, gathering precise information that would be hard to obtain otherwise. All this data collected, from shaking grounds and changing surfaces to gas emissions and observations from satellites and drones, is processed through sophisticated computer models. These models help simulate the volcano's behavior, showing how magma moves and leads to eruptions. By integrating real-time data with these simulations, researchers can make more accurate predictions about when Etna might erupt next. But it's not just about the science, it's also about safety. The data collected from monitoring Mount Etna is used to keep local officials and communities informed about potential dangers. There are early warning systems and emergency plans in place to make sure people can get to safety quickly if an eruption looks likely. Research on Mount Etna never stops, and scientists are always coming up with new ways to improve how they predict eruptions. Innovations in monitoring equipment, better ways to analyze data, and more detailed models are helping them get a deeper understanding of how the volcano behaves. These advancements are crucial for better predicting eruptions and keeping people safe. But beyond the cutting-edge technology and science, there are also the stories and legends that have grown up around Etna over the centuries. Have you ever heard any of these tales about why Etna erupts so often? Is Mount Etna's eruption just a natural event? Or could there be something more strange happening beneath the surface? Something that even scientists can't explain? Could this be a sign of something bigger yet to come? Share your thoughts in the comments and don't forget to like and subscribe for more.